From Tally to Cali.
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy.
The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark. Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, 35 through 31 of the top 40. We're getting close to possibly some actual difference makers. Matt LaSerre joins us to talk about recruiting, and we got to talk about what happened a few days ago in Omaha to Arkansas. Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Shaking and taking the world's first and only clinically proven energy shot. So many benefits of Vitamin Energy. Things like supporting weight loss, a healthy gut, giving you that 7 hours of energy. Tastes great. It's convenient, right? Less than 2 ounces in this bottle. You can carry it wherever you got to go. Gym bag, top desk drawer, however you want to do it. No sugar crash. Helps out the immune health when it's packed with B vitamins, including B12 and B6. And it's fast acting. You just sip the juice, and then you're ready. You're off to the races. Give it a try. VitaminEnergy.com. Shake it and take it. Warchant.com, ultimate Seminole sports source. Check it out. The top 40 continuing on. Story about Luke Clanton out on the PGA Tour. We got lots of recruiting going on. Hop onto the message boards, get involved in the arguments. There's like a 3-page thread about lifting you guys up on headlines, Corey. I think it says headliners equals brutal honesty. And I jumped in there and got involved in the mix. It's good. It's good to get in there, rub elbows with our esteemed, valued customers, if you will.
What's the argument?
My argument?
No, what's the argument in the thread? I didn't click on. I don't like to click on stuff that says Seminole headlines. I'm scared they're just going to say, "Why don't they get rid of Corey?"
They'll never say that. No, man. It was just. Here's the thing. It's all these threads have like this lifespan of person either is trying to be optimistic about things and people drag it down and like, well, how can you be optimistic? Or people come out the gates and like, this program is in a lot of trouble right now. And then people come to the defense of Mike Norvell, like that tag team partner in the back who runs out down the ramp and into the ring to save his tag team partner, like in WWE. But they're just kind of outlining all the things that just haven't been going great for the program. But yeah, no criticisms of you guys. Just saying that you guys are just brutally honest about things. Just about the offensive line performance, which we kind of talked about the other day, and DJ and things like that. So,
well, we're a brutally honest group at Warchant.com.
That's right.
I think everybody understands that now. We'll give it to you straight. At least this show will. Am I right, Aslan?
Right,
we don't sugarcoat things. We don't try to anyway.
No. And we're not compensating either. Like a lot of people think that there was somebody that was saying that this, realistic take or whatever, this brutal honesty is because we all have egg on our face. And we're like, so now we were really optimistic last year and it didn't work out. So now we're all being terribly cynical to save face. I'm not. I don't know where the cynicism is. Like it's not cynicism. I don't have egg on my face. I'm not the one that went 2-10. I foolishly, I guess, thought that Mike Norvell would put together an offense that wasn't the worst in the history of the sport. That's my bad. So I guess I do have egg on my face there. But no, I don't think there's and I don't think we're not. I'm not being brutal about anything. I think they can win 8 games. I think they can win 10 if things go a certain way. I also think they could go 6-6. Like we have no idea. All right. Well, hey, let's talk about something that we have a tough sort of job of figuring out, and that's the top 40. 31 through 35 is dropped. Let's get after it. Corey and Aslan. Top 40. Sponsored by nobody. 31 to 35. Corey Clark, I got both of our lists on the screen in front of us. 35, I got Makai Danzy. Hey, Mr. Gadget play perhaps, maybe a kick return. He talked about envisioning excellence, taking the opening kickoff in a brand new Doak Campbell Stadium against Alabama, the distance, and get the Noles on the board, get the 2025 season started off right. So, I think he could possibly make enough impact plays to warrant being on this tangent or this quartile, however we want to call it, of the list. 35 for you, the new kicker, Jake Weinberg. I don't know if I ever had any kicker that high on a list. What's up with that?
I think when I think about it, it should be higher.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, because, look, man, if he's not good, it's going to be a problem. Because
Come on, Gus and Mike don't like kicking, man. They just want to go for it, man. Go for it.
The reason I say it is because I expect a lot of close games. Okay. I expect games that will come down to a kick or two, or at least one possession games where, man, if you'd have made that 39-yarder in the second quarter, well, now you'd have a 10-point lead, and they wouldn't be able to come. You know what I mean? Like, I just think all these games will be, but many of these games will be close. And having a good kicker is a great luxury. I mean, look, man, just look at the difference between 22 and 23. They won a lot of close games in 23, including the ACC championship, in large part because of their kicker. And then in 22, they lose the NC State game in large part because of their kicker. Not that he had a bad game, but he had previous bad games where it made Norvell not trust him when you've already got the ball well within field goal range in the final 45 seconds of a game where you're down by 2. I think it was down by 2, maybe 1. They were down by 2 or 1 or 2 because I knew a field goal
wins the game. I know that.
Yeah. So that a kicker is really important, and when one of the best kickers you had is leaving, those are big shoes to fill, obviously. And this kid has such an enormous leg, Aslan, that there is a chance that you could see some monster field goals that either give you the lead or give you a 2-score lead late in the game that put the game away. And that's, to me, that's as important. That's more important than the 7th offensive lineman. Having a weapon at kicker is a really big deal. I should have put him 4th. That's on me, Jake. Next year I'll get it right. When you win the Groza as a freshman, we'll all get it right next year, and we'll learn our lesson and put you in the top 10.
34. I've got Jason Jenkins. You've got Daniel Lyons. Daniel Lyons is a guy that I told myself I would not put on my list. That sounds like I've got some personal vendetta against the young man. I don't. I hope he totally proves me wrong, but just one of those things where I've kind of moved off of hoping for things, and I'm a sicko, and I spent an inordinate amount of time one day trying to find the interview because I swear on all things that Norvell at one point, like during the 23 season, said that Daniel Lyons was coming along and he's going to be a special player for them. And so I was like, well, he's got the kiss of death from that. So, but glad to see that he made on your list. I got Jason Jenkins. My hope for Jason Jenkins coming off the injury, transfer from Tennessee. Give me something in November, big dog. Like, we'll see if he'll be ready for the season. It sounds like he got injured on his own, training, with some with his own routine, if you will. And that wasn't all that long ago. Don't know the extent of the injury, but clearly didn't play in spring, and he even said himself that we'll see what happens in fall. But if he can be serviceable in November and they win a game or two, that if they can pull off a win against Florida or NC State on the road, might be a stout defense that's prevented that team from being able to run the ball well. And I'll point to Jason Jenkins if that's one of his first games of the season.
Yeah, it goes back. I mean, I think we both have similar thoughts, though. Like, we don't expect either one of those guys to be stars or even starters necessarily. But when you're talking about in the 30s, you're talking about a guy that could be in the rotation that could spell, let's say, James Williams, or could spell Darrell Jackson and make enough plays that you don't lose too much production or ability in the middle of the line or on the line of scrimmage. And look, yeah, it's now or never for Daniel Lyons. It's just basically I was like, well, I got to have some interior linemen on this list because they're going to play. It's not going to be Darrell Jackson and nobody. Like, they're going to play. And Daniel Lyons, to me, has always been the guy that probably has the most upside, but nobody cares about upside when you're going into your 3rd or 4th year, or whatever it is now for Daniel Lyons. They just care about now side. Like, do it now, man. We don't care that in 2 years you could be something. It's now. It's prove it time now. So yeah, I think he could be important if he takes a big step. And honestly, if he doesn't take a big step, that's important because I don't know what you got after him. KJ Sampson's a name that a guy that's been bandied about for a few years now, and there's some others. But I think Daniel Lyons could be a guy that gives you. It's not outrageous to say he gives you 200 snaps, right?
Dude, he played 331 last year.
Yeah, you're kind of hoping, though, with one less defensive lineman on the field at times and then maybe better people that you brought in. He won't. But so, I mean, if you're going to play somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 or 300 snaps, maybe more, you have a chance to make a real impact, good or bad. Like, if he's not any good, that's impactful, not in a great way. We didn't say they had to be good impacts, folks. So yeah, that's why I had him on the list. I think there is a chance he could be important to the success of the 2025 football team. And with Jenkins, yeah, I don't think I put him on my list just because with an injury like that, you do worry, like, when will he be full speed, if at all? Because I don't until I see him on a field, I'm not going to trust that he's going to contribute this year. So that's why I held him off.
It goes against every bit of my ethos where I'd never like betting on a kid coming off an injury. Especially, I mean, there was one thing if you got injured in late October, like Justin Cryer did last year. It's one thing to get injured in the same calendar year that you're playing a football season. And it's not because I don't think these kids are doing everything they possibly can to get ready, but it's just the mental thing of getting over it and then really just knowing that you're healed and then getting really back into the groove of things is really tough. And yeah, I feel bad for these guys a lot of times because when it's like, oh, he'll be out 4 to 6 months. If he's not ready within 4 months, it's like, what's wrong? Why is he not ready? He should have been ready. It said 4 to 6 months. Like, well, man, there's things that happen. So we'll cross our fingers, hope for the best. We go to 32 and 33. We both have the same players, but just in inverse order. I've got Roydell 32nd. I've got Diamante Diggs, 33rd. You've got Diggs 32nd. You've got Roydell 33rd. Yeah, I don't know how many other running backs I have ahead of Roydell Williams, but I feel like I don't know if I think it's going to be as much of a running back by committee as you seem to have thought when we were talking about it on the last show. But, Croma, if he's the guy that ends up emerging after all is said and done, I feel like Roydell's probably, Robin to him being Batman.
Well, but then I think Sawchuk is Batman. I think Sawchuk's the starter. Right. I think Roydell has a pretty good chance of being the number 2 running back, in my opinion. But
I don't know if they'll hold on to the whole year. I think you're right. I value Sawchuk as well. That slipped my mind there. But, yeah, I think the way I have him on my list, I think that Roydell's a guy that might hold on the number 2 job. But if Cromart's who he is, then when we get into October, November, he's probably your 3rd-string running back. And I don't know how much really burn you're going to get into Gus Malls on offense. But you might be able to do something in the first half of the season to be impactful.
That was the thought. Like, even if it's just against Alabama, running against his former school, wanting to prove him wrong, and he runs with conviction, and he picks you up 3 3rd and shorts, and then scores on a 2-point conversion or something. That's a pretty big impact. And, I'm not expecting Roydell to run for 1,000 yards, but if he gets you 5 or 6 touchdowns, which isn't out of the realm of possibility for a second-string running back at all, that's a pretty important, especially if they're not just walk-in touchdowns, but he has to lower the shoulder and do something to get into the end zone because he is a bigger body kid. He is older. He should be stronger. He's had essentially a whole year off. There is a chance he could be something that impacts games. And I agree with you. I think by the middle second half of the season, there is a chance. Like, look, man, we don't have any idea. Cromall might suck. I don't think so. You know what I mean? I think they went after him for a reason and gave him what they gave him for a reason. Like, I think they think he's the real deal. But until he proves it on a college field, we don't know. We don't know for sure. With Roydell, at least he can do some things for you. And so I do think he'll have an impact, even though I do expect Sawchuk to get I would guess twice as many carries as he does.
Okay. All right, 31 rounding out this quintet.
Injuries happen too, by the way.
Yeah.
Injuries happen too, especially at that position. And I think going back to Diggs, I think Diggs is the same boat as Lyons and Jenkins, right? Like, not a guy that we expect to star, but he will play a lot, at least, and I say a lot, 20 to 25 snaps a game would be my guess. He's not special because he has 10 career sacks in 4 seasons at Youngstown State. Youngstown State. That's a toughie. Golly, that's like toy boat 5 times real fast. That's a toughie there. Youngstown State. And then where did he come from last year? He was at Coastal Carolina, where he was the starting center fielder. No, shout out to the Chanticleers, though. They're 2 wins away from another national championship. Unbelievable. And I do want to talk about that baseball game.
We will.
Okay,
we will.
great.
We will.
But, yeah, so, 10 sacks in his career, but 4 years split between Youngstown and Coastal Carolina. So not a special guy, right? You're not expecting the world from him. Yeah. You're expecting some veteran presence, a guy that won't get blown up, pushed around, and can maybe make a few plays during the course of the season that would lend him to be on this list.
Yeah. He's got a lot of experience playing on the interior. At least he did when he was at Youngstown.
But 250, right? He's like 256. That's
like
why I was thinking
250, 260. He, according to PFF, he played end most of last season at Coastal, but he started off playing on the interior. But I think he played about 9 of the games last year at end. So, and the 3-3-5, I'm sure that's where his home's going to be. But as a kind of your edge setter, just know your responsibility. Just don't get us beat on this play by taking the cheese or whatever. So I think that's where it's a probably good spot for Diggs. And then 31. I've got Landon Thomas. You got Adrian Medley, offensive lineman, interior from UCF. Landon Thomas, now I look at this thing, if this kid, that might be a gross miscalculation on my part. Yep. I hope it is.
Yeah, it really could be. Yeah. He kind of got lost a little bit in the spring because of the addition of Pittman and because of what's our man, Lofton.
Yeah, a lot. We'll see about Chase Lofton.
No, I'm saying, but he made some plays. At least in the scrimmage we saw, he made some plays. And the way Norvell talked about him, the way they all talked about him, is he's got a chance to be a star before his college career is over. And you kind of Landon Thomas, I think, just gets judged unfairly because of the offense he was in last year, as they all do.
But I think it's the offense he's going to be in this season too. Gus,
you think so? Yeah.
Looking Gus in tight ends, just I know Landon Thomas can do a little bit of all of it, but he's more of a pass catching kind of dynamic threat, and CJ Uzma is maybe the only real diverse, dynamically skilled kind of tight end that Gus has had at tight end, other than what Randy Pittman did last year at Orlando. So I don't know how he's really going to be utilized when we think about Biscuit getting in there a few times in certain situations, and then Randy Pittman knowing the offense maybe a little bit better. He's maybe 1A, 1B tight end in an offense that probably doesn't go to the tight end a lot. At least that was my calculus.
Yeah, and I see that. I understand that. I think what I would say to that, and it's not even a counter, I agree that you don't know how much the tight end is going to be used. You also don't think you're going to be a pass-first team at all. So how many times are even thrown to the tight end, period? And he's probably, I would think, going to be second string with Pittman being first string. But so what are we expecting, 20 catches?
Yeah.
25 catches? What kind of impact can you make with 25 catches? What I will say, though, is the way he looked his first year, just the ability that he showed, the fact that he was considered the top-ranked tight end of the country, he does have some serious stuff to him, and people do get better, sometimes lots better. I know it's a completely different sport, but Alex Lodis was a completely different player from one year to the next. What if Landon Thomas, from the last time we saw him against Florida till Alabama, which is 9 months, that's a lot of time to get better, faster, stronger. He could end up being an awesome player. That's glass half full, but your story isn't written when you're a freshman tight end on that horrible offense last year. There's no way to really judge what he could actually end up being. But there is a chance he could be special. It's hard to assume that right now that it's the case, but there is a chance, and we didn't get to see a lot of it because of what he was surrounded by a season ago. But there is some real stuff there, and it's up to them to unleash it, because I do think he is a matchup problem. I do think he is a guy that could go make plays, and it would be nice to put him in a position to go make those plays.
Yeah, I like a little excuse me. I like a little goal line thought of maybe Deuce and Landon Thomas both out wide, or maybe
Deuce Spann.
R.I.P.
Yeah, you mean Deuce Robinson? Sorry,
yeah.
Or as Chris Fowler called him, Deuce Spawn.
Spawn, yeah,
because that's the normal spelling of Spawn.
Adrian Medley. So that's one of your starting 5 offensive linemen checking in at 31?
Yeah, and it's because I have Otto kind of somewhere in there too. I feel like they're competing, but I can't foresee a scenario where Adrian Medley isn't the starter. Maybe it's not fair, But Otto, it's like what they used to say with boxing, like if you're going to take the title away from the champ, you've got to destroy him. It can't be close.
And don't go to the scorecards. Don't go
to
the
scorecard. Yeah, you have to absolutely win, where there's no doubt. Well, that's how Andre Otto would have to be if he's competing with Medley. I guess he could be competing with Leonard too. We'll see where he's competing. But Adrian Medley has played for Gus Malzahn and Herb Hand for multiple years, and they were very, very quick to offer him a spot on the Florida State football team. So they would not do that if they thought he was going to get beat out by a redshirt sophomore. So that's why I do think he is the presumed starter at the left guard spot. But we don't. It's not written in stone, and Otto can go win it from him. But yeah, another guy, a veteran, decent player. Nothing incredible because, again, when you're 23 years old and you're still playing college football, you're probably not an NFL player, certainly not a high-round NFL player. But he's a veteran presence that's done it in this offense and done it well in this offense. So that lends to him. Like I think we're getting to the spot where you're starting to talk about guys that are really going to contribute. Like Adrian Medley and Landon Thomas. When you think about it, I know we've lamented some of the names, especially we did on headlines. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad for 30 and 31. I know that's not the official Warchant list,
right.
But for our list, that's not bad when you have two guys that I think are going to play a lot.
Yeah. Would it be worth – we can't go back to 24. That would just be torturous. But would it be worth going back and either auditing what we did as a whole for 2023 or re-ranking it just so like that would give people kind of an idea going to the season of what – I mean, the 23 is maybe not a good idea because that was a – 13-1 football team, but like maybe 2022. That way we can like kind of better contextualize because I get it. Like a lot of the names that we'd been talking about and some of the first comments when the threads were posted rolling out these lists, it's like, all right, guy that's injured, guy that's changing positions or guy that's moving up a level in competition. Like that's not good, but it's like, well, if the 25 best guys can stay healthy and play like the 25 best players on a good Florida State football team, you'll be okay. I think it's worth doing it, but maybe I'll have to spearhead it and figure out a way to get everybody else involved.
You're definitely going to have to spearhead it, but go for it, man. I'm on board.
All right, that was 31 through 35, but how about 10? That is 10% off you can enjoy over at Ridge when you use the promo code WAKEUP. Go to ridge.com/wakeup. Ridge, more than just wallets, everybody. They create premium, everyday carry essentials like key cases, suitcases, and rings, and they're all built sleek with premium product design and materials. Things like aluminum, titanium, carbon fiber, if you're really bougie, as some of the kids say. I don't want to do an econ lesson here, Corey, but it can fit up to 12 cards, but I don't know if any of us need to be carrying around 12 cards. I'm not just saying just 12 credit cards, but what do we need 12 cards of anything for? Insurance card, ID, debit card, credit card, and maybe some rewards cards somewhere else. But you can fit 12 if you want.
Casino cards, maybe. Pictures of your family. Do people still do that with wallets?
No, man. The little plastic.
I guess you have a phone. You have a phone, don't you? Yeah. So you're going to bore everybody. Hold on, let me get it. Oh, this was really fun. This happened 6 months ago. Let me scroll here for an hour.
Yeah,
oh, isn't that cool? But back in the day when you had a wallet, it was just right there. Like, here, look at him or her. So, so I guess you wouldn't put a picture in a Ridge wallet, but I'm telling you, man, I'll tell you one thing about them. They are secure up in there.
Yes, sir.
Those fat wallets I used to have, literally once a month, my cards would just spill out. Usually, I shouldn't admit this, but I will. I'd be at a casino, and I'd be looking for my rewards card because I hadn't been there in a year, and then my cards just spill out everywhere, usually on the ground. Would that happen in a Ridge wallet, Aslan?
No, sir. Nope.
Absolutely not.
Secure. Cash fits as well, and those 12 cards. Yep. Again, give them a try. Ridge.com/wakeup. Save up to 10%. Matt LaSerre talking recruiting right after this. We are back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Shake it and take it, everybody. We got a nice shot in the army of information, knowledge. We got Matt LaSerre, staff writer for Warchant.com, joining us. Always covering everything Florida State, not just the recruiting, golf, football. There's really nothing that Matt doesn't do. Matt, thanks for taking time. I know you've been really busy, really slammed. I think your whole week started off on a crazy note, covering a quarterback, because Florida State certainly needs a quarterback. Is Florida State any closer to getting a quarterback in this 2026 class?
I think they're much closer. I mean, once you got one on campus, you got to be close, right? Better than where they were.
Yeah. Jaden O'Neal, break it down for us. I guess, Oklahoma had been in the mix. Florida State is kind of going through a lot of, backup. I don't want to say backup plans, but let's be honest, man. Like, listen, there's, the Bo kid, Duckworth, Keyshawn Henderson. I mean, we're going through a list of guys before we get to O'Neal. What do you think the staff likes about O'Neal? What do you think O'Neal likes about this staff?
First of all, with O'Neal, his strength is definitely his arm. He's able to throw it all over the place. He's really, really big arm, and he can run too. People think he can't really run that much, but he can definitely run. If you watch his tape, is it his strength? No, that's his arm, but he is still definitely able to do that in like a Gus Malzahn offense where people think you need a running quarterback, or it goes the best with a running quarterback when he's proven to use a bunch of different skill sets. He's also just a great kid overall, awesome to talk to. From me as a media guy, he's very easy to get in contact with, which
that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Yes, we like that.
Yes.
We like that a lot.
You don't see that a lot from quarterbacks. But in general, yeah, great kid. With OU, he's still committed there right now, and so this is Friday. As of now, he's still going to OU today for that final visit. And I still expect him to go there. Or not, sorry, just go on the visit.
Right.
And, I like where Florida State's standing. I think they did a good job on the visit overall. The big part was the offense, right? I think that he got shown how well of a fit or how good of a fit he was for Gus Malzahn. I think the big comparison was Jarrett Stidham as a quarterback. And that's something that I even like Jeff and Tom said on the Jeff Cameron show yesterday of they see that, and that's the exact one that I think that they showed him. And again, it just seems right? Like I wouldn't call him the third option because my thing was he's the only one that really showed you interest back. Bo Bentley came on campus, yeah, but he eliminated you pretty quickly after. Keyshawn Henderson never was actually here. Landon Duckworth, they kept feeling like, oh, he was the number one target. He's the guy they want the most. But then they couldn't get him on campus. The last time he was on campus was 2 years ago for a camp. So I think this has to be a two-way street of the quarterback needs to be interested in you as well, right? Like you need to both like each other. Like when you're going in to date a girl, the girl doesn't date you unless she likes you too. So that's what I think this was kind of needed, and this was the guy for Florida State, and this is the guy that they needed to put this all-out push on. And I think they did that well, and we'll just see how it pays off in the coming days and the coming weeks.
Sometimes, not necessarily that girl, but maybe if you're a lady and there's a guy pursuing you, maybe it's really important that you have a nice car or like a really big house.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what recruiting is obviously turned out to. Are there any other names out there that we know of besides O'Neal at this point, or do you think if he ends up liking OU and reaffirming his commitment, then we'll start getting maybe some more names leaking out of who else they could pursue?
Yeah, I think we'll find out more names after the fact if he were to lock into OU here in the next coming weeks or whatever. But I also still think it's all or nothing here. It's kind of hard to find your options when what's happened has happened. Like I wanted them to go after Travis Burgess, who's now committed to North Carolina out of, I think it's Grayson, Georgia. He came on a visit in the spring, and they didn't offer him, even though I thought he was a perfect fit. He's a guy who had a good arm and can run pretty well. He's actually at Elite 11 this week. And Gus Malzahn, Florida State, Mike Norvell decided not to offer him when he was here. And I don't know if they still in contact with the kid, but I felt like that kind of burned a bridge there. Like if I was the kid, I'd be pissed off at that. Yeah. So I would feel like they would try to turn to him, and that would be your first offer if O'Neal went or stayed at OU. But overall, I think I would feel like you're out of luck, and you probably
back to the
start
drawing
looking,
board, right?
Yeah, back to the drawing board and look more at maybe if you can get a guy to reclassify like Jace Johnson or Trent Seaborn or something like that. But I feel like that's unrealistic.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, man, uproot your entire plans. We need you right now. All right, let's talk about guys that had been on campus, obviously showing some interest. Let's start with Keon Chapman, 6'3", 180-pound wide receiver out of Jackson, Alabama, 4-star prospect, top 200 prospect, number 10 overall prospect in the state of Alabama. What did you sort of discern from what he was able to get done on his visit and seeing the facilities and speaking to the staff?
Yeah, so this was the first. He was at 7-on-7 camp on Wednesday, and he was on an official visit 2 weeks ago, I think. We never got to talk to him after the official visit, so it was good to get to talk to him on Wednesday. He's down to Florida State and North Carolina. He did okay at the 7-on-7 camp. He's a tall kid. Definitely can use that to his advantage. And I'll just say the majority, because I'm not sure if it was the whole staff out there watching just his field yesterday at 7-on-7. So it was clear that they wanted to watch him and get eyes on him more than they already had. I don't know. I know Gus Malzahn has been out to visit that school a couple times because that's where Landon Duckworth, one of the quarterbacks we just talked about, was before. Is. So he's been out there. They have that school's got a good running back in Xavier Crowell, who was there yesterday too. Who we don't even need to talk about him because I don't think he's coming. It didn't get the warm and fuzzies there, but a lot of coaches had eyes on him, and he called FSU his top OV. So that was good to hear because we didn't talk to him after the OV and couldn't get in touch with him then. But that's good to hear. So you just kind of in the waiting period here of which one he chooses.
What do we know about Jacoby? Is it Jacoby Green?
Yeah. Another local guy, Gaston County, was at Niceville, just recently transferred from Gaston County to Niceville. He also officially visited earlier. I think he was the first official visit weekend of the month. And he got offered for Florida State late. That was the whole thing with him. He had visited so many times. He was always here. I think it was one of those where the staff was probably worried he would commit right away. And if he got that offer, so he ended up committing to Mississippi State without a Florida State offer, got the Florida State offer, and then visited FSU officially a few weeks ago. And then he was back just to watch 7-on-7. He didn't compete in the big man camp that kind of goes hand in hand with 7-on-7, but he still did get to meet with Herb Hand and Norvell yesterday. He said that he feels like they're pushing more since the official visit. He officially visits Mississippi State this weekend as his last OV, and he basically said, Mississippi State showed me a lot in the spring game. He loved going to the spring game, but this point to stay a Bulldog, he said he wants to see how they treat their players and where he is on the depth chart and stuff like that. For Florida State to flip him, he said really what they've been doing. They've been on him, they've talked to him forever. They've talked to him since 8th grade, just didn't offer him until pretty recently. And he said that communication has been more and that push has been more from Florida State. He said Norvell still keeps telling him, even when we saw him on Wednesday, I want you to be a Seminole, I want you to be a Seminole. So it's clear they really want this kid, and they're going hard for that flip before he visits Starksville, Mississippi on probably today.
All right. I had this in my notes, and I can't believe it, so I think I skipped over it accidentally, Matt. But apparently there's going to be a 5-star linebacker on campus, Xavier Griffin, 6'3", 205-pound backer from Gainesville, Georgia, 27th overall ranked prospect in this class. He's a consensus 5-star, number 2 linebacker. Looks like Alabama's in the mix, Ohio State's in the mix, Texas is in the mix. Little old Florida State hanging around, huh? This is something that might happen. A 5-star coming on campus, and they'll have an opportunity to try to woo him, it sounds like.
Yeah, he's coming in. It's cool that they get the last visit, right? That's always, I don't know how much stock you put into that stuff now, but, I mean, if he were to, he made it to the last visit, right? I feel like that doesn't happen a whole lot anymore in an era with the portal and offers to commit right away kind of stuff. So it's just cool that I really respect the fact that he went through all these official visits. He decommitted from USC a couple months ago, a month ago maybe, and not even officially visiting USC, officially visited Ohio State, Alabama, Texas. And right now, going into the visit, Florida State's definitely not the favorite. As much as bad as that sounds, but again, last visit, anything can happen. Wilt Fong had a pick in for Alabama right when he decommitted from USC. So again, that's something where you see that and you think it's imminent and it's going to happen soon, but the kid still took all of his official visits. And he told me, I did a preview with him, which will be, I don't know when it'll be on the site. I just finished writing it up. But he basically said everyone's still making him feel like a priority. Didn't say if there was one team pushing the most. But with FSU, there's another kid that they've been on since his freshman year. And even with Coach JP switching over to linebacker, when Coach JP might not have been the guy recruiting him last year, it's become a really quick and they've quickly built a really good relationship. And it's just it's not putting all your eggs in one basket, but if there's a kid that like Florida State should pay for in this cycle, it's this kid, man. It's 5-star linebacker who could really do it all. I was talking to people from other companies on the bench, and that's where we were at on him. Again, in this kind of world, that's how you can make your difference, but getting the last visit's important. I think it's going to be huge here. Another kid is really good kid, and I think kind of fits well into that Florida State culture of, like I've always said this, Mike Norvell does a really good job of not really getting kids who get into a whole lot of trouble and kids who you can be good leaders and good men off the field, right? That's one of their big focuses. Yeah. And this is someone who fits that, in my opinion, really well, and also happens to be a really damn good football player. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to have that 5-star on campus, especially for the last visit.
Absolutely. Hey, last thing before we go here, Matt, I do not pay attention to recruiting nearly as much as I used to, or maybe even should. But, some of these names that have come down lately in terms of commitments, I did the video with Michael about Brandon Bennett. Yep. Well aware that makes sense, American heritage. But when you see a guy like Tank Carrington from California committing here recently, also a guy like Tico Crittenton, I didn't really, I don't know how long these guys have kind of been on the radar. I wonder how long, are these guys that we only heard about maybe in the last month or two? Because I realize everything has been sped up, and I looked this up, Matt. So in the 2022 class, Florida State had 17 high school signees. 10 of those signees made official visits during the football season. 2023, they had 18 high school commitments. Only 3 of them made official visits during the season. Last year's class, 23 high school commitments, only 1 made a official visit after the season. It was Amari Williams. So I know everything's being sped up. Like, you want to get these guys on campus in June. Crittenton and Carrington, were these guys that you'd heard about a year ago, or are these all kind of fresh names?
So Carrington's an interesting one because at one point, so I think he's rated a 3-star now. At one point on, I think every recruiting service, he was a 5-star. I don't know what happened there, but very early on, 2 years ago when they were first coming out with the rankings, he was a top guy. At least he was ranked by everybody. He was at least a top 100 guy, I think, by everybody, at the very least. I think one had him as a 5-star. So that's a kid who clearly the talent is there. He's been to a bunch of high schools, but that kid definitely has talent. And Florida State was on him when he was at a high school in Georgia at one point before this new defensive staff. That was 2 years ago. But then again, nothing happened until this official visit. This official visit still came out of nowhere when it happened. And he only announced it a few days before. So that one was still a surprise, but something that had a little bit of backstory to it. Tigo is different. I on the commit video I did with Tom, I looked at my DMs with him to see when I asked him about taking the official visit, and it was the end of May. So that one was really, and again, these kids make their official visit plans way, way in advance. All these commits that are coming this weekend probably finalized this date back in March. That's how long it takes to get these set up, and this kid did it only a few weeks before. And there's even guys coming this weekend there's a kid who coming this weekend who set up his official visit yesterday or 2 days ago. So there's been a lot of that, and I think it's been a lot of work behind the scenes for the new staff. Maybe it's prior or past relationships when they were at Nebraska or UCF that, maybe we didn't know a whole lot about, but they kept that going, and then you're finally able to get them on campus, right? So it's just a variety. Something I have noticed different this cycle is that they're taking a lot more early commitments in June. Normally it's always been, and you remember because you helped us record all the videos all at once to have them ready, July ends up being when Florida State, they'll still get majority commits in July. There'll still be a lot of kids. That's just how it works now. But it used to be Florida State would take almost no kid in June or in the spring, and they would just do all of them get the green light in July. That's what it felt like the last 2 cycles since I've been doing this. So now it's kind of nice to have momentum, right? You actually you're getting these guys and you're seeing that stuff is working. So that feels nice. And as a media guy, it's nice to have a commit story out there and not have to write as many stories because we don't have a commit for a while. So it's been I've liked the way the staff has kind of rolled it out. It's been a lot of 3 stars, but at the end of the day, if down the road, like you said, you can still get commits in season. There's already going to be a bunch of official visits for the Alabama game, like Juice Gordon, who was here at that 7-on-7 camp. I think Trenton Henderson, the other day at Big Man Camp, told Michael that he's going to be officially visiting for the Bama game. So you still have a lot of those, and I find that normally the trend is they like to take the commits on game day weekends for official visits, like people who are committed to other schools, is what I meant by that. Like Cameron Wilson is a guy who's committed to Syracuse, was originally scheduled to come this weekend. I texted him a few minutes ago, and he's coming for an in-game visit. So there's still a lot that could happen, and if you have a guy come up who's highly ranked and you start winning in season, that you have a chance to flip. Worst case, some of these 3 stars, some of these guys who maybe are less talented will drop off the class, but it's a trade-off, right? So it's, again, I still think a lot of the recruiting stuff is going to factor on how they do this year. I look at Florida last year a lot when they had that good run at the end of the year and then flipped a bunch of top guys. So I think if you see Florida State do something like that in the season, you're going to look at an even better class rather than, as in our standards, Florida State's fan standards can get up to that, from that mid-tier into the top 10, right?
Amen. Well said. We will hope. We will cross our fingers like less than 70 days almost until this whole football season thing starts. In the meantime, check out all the recruiting information over on the recruiting and portal board. It's Matt LaSerre, staff writer for warchant.com. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, the place to be this weekend and every weekend when you're in Tallahassee, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Usually weekday happy hour, 4 to 7 o'clock, but Corey, you say that's not the case.
Well, I don't know if it's the case or not. I'll be honest with you, but I do know that the live music goes till 9 o'clock.
Okay.
From 6 to 9. Okay. And it said HH by it, so I assume that means happy hour goes to 9. But they'll have some live music. It's not like a loud band. I think it's one songwriter playing music. You get to listen to it or not. You don't care. You get to go have your conversations, watch sports. He's got the MLB DirecTV package, so if you're a Major League Baseball fan and you don't want to pay for the package yourself, Bill has already done it for you. So you can go up there on a Friday night and be like, I want to watch Cal Raleigh hit another home run. Or I want to watch Cam Smith hit another home run. Put on the Astros game. Put on the Mariners game. I mean, be polite about it. But they'll do it for you at Corner Pocket. They got the DirecTV package.
Confirmed tonight, Anna Westcoat, 6 to 9 o'clock, happy hour music going down. Westcoat, a Best Band 2023 Best of Tally Awards winner. Okay. Bluebird Cafe Golden Pick winner. Debut country album, world famous, out now. Go check it out, everybody. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Bring a friend, make a friend. CPTallybar.com, the website. All right, we are back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Shake it and take it. So we're a few days removed from this, and you mentioned earlier in the show you wanted to talk about it, Corey, and I definitely want to talk about it. I want to lay out and let you give us your thoughts on it. But Arkansas, who is quickly becoming a almost lovable loser, but I haven't found them to be lovable yet. Yeah, all right, good. Just making sure. Yeah, they've had some really hard luck at the College World Series, and their head coach, Dave Van Horn's been at the helm of all of it. I think we all remember 5 years ago, maybe more, maybe a year, give or take a year, where they
18.
were up. Was it 18?
It was when because Oregon State. That was when Oregon State won their third. Yeah,
2 outs, 2 strikes. Game 2, they won the first game. They just got to catch a foul ball, and they are national champions. I think the right fielder and first baseman converge on it, and I got it.
Second baseman, second baseman. Yeah,
I got it, and neither of them had it. Oregon State used that extra out to tie the game or go ahead, and then ends up winning the deciding game 3 the next day. That was brutal. Hard to top that, but my gosh, what they went through on Wednesday, that seemed to be not too far removed from it. And listen, I know Florida State, we haven't had the best luck in Omaha either, but I don't know if we've had that level of just absolute brutality that Arkansas has been undergoing here of late.
Yeah, look, I've seen all the Florida State losses out in Omaha. I don't remember some from the 90s as clearly, but I've seen them all. And I don't think they've had anyone as bad as the one that Arkansas had on Wednesday night. And that's not even the worst one Arkansas's had, because as Aslan alluded to, you don't understand. They've won the College World Series. The ball has been popped up. It's a mile high in the air. It's in foul territory. They have a right fielder that can catch the ball and a second baseman that can catch the ball. They both don't kind of call it, or they both pull off at the last minute, and it lands at their feet. And if one of them just sticks their glove out, Arkansas wins the 2018 World Series. Instead, it lands foul. The kid singles on the next pitch to drive in the tying run. Oregon State wins in extra innings, or somehow it wins on a walk-off and then wins the next game, because, of course, they're going to win the next game. That's more heartbreaking than Florida State's ever had.
Yes.
Ever. I know Florida State's made it to the championship game a couple times, and they lost by a run to Miami, and I know they were really close on a bunt that was foul or something, or the kid hit a fair ball down the line that scored 3 that was a couple inches, whatever. They were very close in that game, but they hadn't won the game. Like, Arkansas's pitcher had done enough. He popped the kid up. The game's over. And then, and so that's just horrific. That's unbelievable. Also, this Arkansas team is flipping loaded. And I know even if they'd have won the game on Wednesday, they'd have still had to beat LSU again on Thursday night, and that's no easy task because they were basically out of pitching, which goes back again to at least that's what Van Horn said afterward. He's like, I don't know who we would have pitched. I'm sure they have somebody out there throwing 98 down in the pen that they could have ridden for 3 or 4 innings. But and that's the biggest problem with the whole stupid event, is that if you lose the first game, sorry, man. Again, Aslan, isn't that weird? Both teams in the championship game won their championship series, won their first game.
Yeah, that's correct.
Once again, if you lose your first game, you're done. Imagine the NBA playoffs being like, if you lose your game 1 of a series, you have a 8% chance of coming back to win the series. They change it the next day.
Why aren't we that bothered about the super regional, though? I guess maybe it's not at 98% or whatever this is, but it's something crazy. Like 80% of teams that win game 1 as supers end up winning it, but that doesn't seem to bother us nearly as much as this. And I'm with you.
But that's a series, and that's probably how most
Right.
playoff series are. This isn't even a series. This is just 2 4-team tournaments. So anyway,
it's a regional. Matt LaSerre pointed this out to me in a group chat. Or not a group chat, but a text message. But it's basically 2 regionals, right? There's 4 teams on one side, 4 teams on the other, and then whoever wins that quote unquote regional in Omaha then ends up making it to the super regional, which is the championship series that starts this weekend. So it's kind of a hybrid thing.
It is, but it's like, man, I don't like the idea of if you lose your first game, because in a regional you got to win like
4 games you got to win like 4 games in 5 days. It's crazy.
Well, Oregon State did it, right? When they lost the first game of their regional out in Corvallis. Number one, they were at home, and also they were playing teams worse than them, much worse. Because that's the key to a regional. You get to play a 4 seed and a 3 seed. Right. You don't have to play a College World Series team. They're all good out there. Like like Florida State, I thought played really well out in Omaha last year. They went 2-2. Because they lost their first game on a check swing call. So anyway, Arkansas's lost that heartbreaker. And then I've never seen a team lose a game like they lost. And literally, remember, folks, I'm a Braves fan. If I know anything, it's postseason heartache. I've never seen a team lose like they did on Wednesday night. What got lost in it, Aslan, is so he strikes out the first kid. This is a kid, the Arkansas kid's strikes out 2 guys an inning. Like 56 Ks in 28 innings, just otherworldly numbers. He strikes out the first kid. The next kid hits a ground ball pretty much right at the second baseman, pretty much right at him. The first baseman cuts it off for some reason, and then there's nobody at the base for him to throw to because he's supposed to be there. So the pitcher tries to get there, but he can't throw it on time. And even if he'd have thrown a good throw to the pitcher, the kid that hit it is going to beat the pitcher to the bag because he's a left-hander falling off towards third base. He was never going to beat him to the bag anyway. It's such a dumb baseball play. You have to know where your second baseman is. Don't go get that ball. He's going to field it. Get your butt back to the bag. That's number one. Then their All-American shortstop, who might win the Golden Spikes over Lodis. I can tell you this. I'm 100% confident Lodis wouldn't have made this boneheaded play. So first and second, I think it's first and second, right? First and second, 1 out. Yeah. One of LSU's best hitters, but he's not a fast kid. Hits basically a 3-hopper right at the shortstop. It's tailor-made double play. Tailor-made.
6-4-3.
6-4-3 ball game. Because the kid hadn't gotten out of the box well, he's a righty anyway. He didn't get out of the box real well. It might have been close at first, but I think he's going to be out if it's a good turn. Plus, why not give it a try? But instead, is it Aloy? Isn't that his last name? Decides to just pivot and throw to third and get the lead runner at third, which it doesn't make sense because the only way a shortstop should ever go to third in that situation with a ball hit right at him is if you're up by a run and there's nobody out. And you're like, I want to keep the tying run or if you're tied, I want to get that run, that really important run, from getting 90 feet from home where a sac fly can win the game or something like that. But that run didn't mean anything. It's outlandish. But anyway, so instead of trying to turn the double play, he just throws to third. So instead of 2 outs, it's just instead of getting both outs in the game over, you only got 1 out. So there's another out to get. It was so inexplicable by a really good player like an All-American. And then obviously most of you, I would think, saw how LSU tied the game where a left fielder had a line drive / fly ball hit off his shoulder. I know I've never seen that, Aslan. Never.
Well, he slipped. I think I read the transcript, and I think Van Horn was saying that when he made his jump, he slipped, and then when he got himself up, he lost it. And I mean, not the game, but he lost
he's
the
slipping.
ball.
Yes, correct. And it's like, so my point when I tweeted about it on Wednesday night is like, if you think if Florida State fans think they're cursed,
oh my God,
imagine number one, LSU fans must think Omaha is the best city on earth. Nothing awful ever happens there. Just sweet memories and love and
7 national championships.
Yeah, and think about some of the ones they've won. But anyway, with Warren Morris hitting a walk-off first home run of the year. This game, the game they beat FSU in 2017 when Florida State makes 3 errors on 1 play. It's just what happens for LSU. Yeah. It's incredible. That was the game 1, by the way. And if Florida State wins that game, hey, who knows? But they didn't. LSU always wins game 1. Florida State hardly ever does. But so it hits off that kid's shoulder. So both runs, it doesn't just hit off his shoulder and land by him. It hits off his shoulder and then takes off like it was in a T-shirt gun. Like it shoots off to the side as if somebody hit it with a bat. It was incredible. And so the kid scores all the way from first. And then even the last one, man, that second baseman could make that play.
That could have been caught.
That should have been caught.
Yeah.
Dare I say Drew Farreau makes that play?
Drew Farreau makes it. Absolutely.
And I don't know if that was the other Aloy brother. I know there's 2 of them. I don't know if he plays second. But, yeah, so in the span of 5 batters, Arkansas's defense made 2 horrific plays. Well, 1 horrific play. 1, you can make that play, and 2 really dumb plays. And that's how they lost the game. All with they were 1 out away from advancing to the final game against LSU, and instead they watch LSU. And I felt horrible for that left fielder. He's a really good player. He's been good for them, and he was already bawling, walking off the field. Like it had really, and it's like, man, it's not your fault. It is your fault. You slipped. I get it. Things happen. It hit off your shoulder. But if your shortstop just turns a double play, it would have that ball would have never been hit to you. It's just I felt bad for him, and but I don't feel bad for Arkansas fans because how could any Florida State baseball fan or reporter have that much? You can't. I mean, Florida State's been out there 24 times, man. Yeah. Come on, but they are not more cursed than Arkansas. I mean, that is unbelievable. And plus, Arkansas cursed itself by calling itself Omahogs.
Yeah,
that you did that to yourself. But that I've never seen anything quite like it. And so now we have LSU and Coastal. And I'll be rooting for Coastal, pretty much assured that LSU will win another one.
Cam Koziel was at second base. He's 5'10". I think Farrell's listed at 6'2", maybe even 6'3". So, yeah, Farrell
might not even have to jump for it. But when he leaps, like, it's a good leap, but it hits off like the heel of his glove. It's not like it – I don't think it hits off the tip of his glove. No. It looks to me like it hits off the side or the heel.
It hit the webbing. I feel like it hit the webbing, man. But...
It definitely could have been caught, and he would definitely think that – he would definitely say that he should have caught it. It's not an error. There was only 1 error, but there were 2 mental errors, and then that one could have been made. And it's just like that's – Cal Raleigh is turning into the best catcher in the world. He is the best catcher in the world right now. There's just a throw home in whatever that inning that was, inning 7 or inning 8 of that 2017 World Series game against LSU. Even after the Stephen Wells error, the kid just keeps running the bases like he's in Little League. He's going to be out by 30 feet, at least. And Cal Raleigh just drops a perfect throw with the catcher's mitt. Just tips off his glove. How do you explain that? Just crazy things happen to these two programs. So maybe next year they'll both meet in the championship series.
I want to get one last thought off my chest or out of my dome here, Corey.
All right.
And I know we're trying to wrap it up here, but all these guys that we've been talking about in Arkansas, I've been pulling them up one after the other. Koziel came from Vanderbilt. The Eloy kid came from Sacramento State. They've got a lot of guys that have been elsewhere. I think they're the second. Their left fielder, I think, might have been at Florida Gulf Coast.
Should have stayed there.
He
would be having a better summer.
But when you think about Florida State had this natural built-in advantage when it came to recruiting baseball. Baseball is a kind of a cottage niche sport, 11.7 scholarships or whatever it was, but you're in Florida, you're in the state of Florida. The Florida Gator baseball program wasn't all that great. Miami was a strong program, but Florida State had all these built-in advantages, being the preeminent public university college baseball program in the state of Florida. And they amassed all this talent that went to the major leagues. They made it to Omaha dozens of times and can never end up winning it. And it's a little bit concerning to me that we think about the economics of college athletics now, and we've seen it kind of laid bare when it comes to football, and baseball's not too far behind. I mean, LSU got Tommy Tanks. Florida State made a run at Tommy White, who ended up at LSU and helped them win a national title. There's so many more players, though, in baseball, I guess, so it's not as small of a pool, but I had a little bit of anxiety thinking about, can Florida State really make a run at the difference makers that you're going to have to get out of the transfer portal, because you're not going to be able just to recruit high school kids. You're going to build a base, right? I think very similar to football, but you're going to need to be able to probably get some ready-made, instant plug-and-play guys to be able to win a national title. But you're going to be competing against every single freaking team in the ACC practically. Maybe Missouri and
SEC.
I'm sorry, yeah, SEC. So other than maybe Missouri and I don't know. I mean, listen, Auburn cares about baseball. Alabama cares about baseball. Obviously, so does LSU. Georgia's not too shy about either. Florida. I mean, the list goes on. Tennessee. Do you have concerns about Florida State being able to have a Omaha caliber national championship roster with the way NIL's taken over things?
No, we talked about this a little bit on headlines too. No, hopefully, if the House settlement things works, you're not going to be there. There aren't going to be baseball players being offered millions of dollars because there's just not that money. Theoretically, right? There's not supposed to be money. You only have $20 million to spend total, so you can't spend 10% of your entire athletics salary budget on a power hitting first baseman. Great. Where's my quarterback? Where's my wide receiver? That just doesn't seem feasible. But I can't sit here and say with authority what will or won't happen. It's a fool's errand to try to do something like that in this crazy landscape. But I will say this: it's Florida State. Yes, I know the SEC is the big bad dog, and they're probably going to win another national championship. I'm rooting for you, Chanticleers. Make it, especially after that guy.
Their head coach is a dog. He is a dog.
And threw Sullivan under the bus. Yeah. O'Sullivan. Man, that's awesome. I love that guy. That's why his team can't lose. It's because he was willing to rat that guy out and tell everybody what a PO is. That's awesome. So I definitely hope I hope he wins 2 more games. And of course they've been there twice. They've only been there twice in their history, and they're in the finals both times and won one already. Yeah. But good stuff. Anyway, but I look at that program. How are they there? Do they have as much money as Arkansas or LSU or North Carolina or Florida State?
Well said.
It can happen. And again, Florida State is not poor. I want to keep reemphasizing this when it comes to all these sports. Really, maybe basketball is a little different. They might be spending. They're probably not spending what they could on basketball, but baseball and football, they are not poor. Are they Arkansas or LSU? No, there aren't many that are. But they are competing with those programs for some big names. They also have a history and tradition, a fan base, and a coach that is proven. All that matters when you're a baseball parent and you're a baseball player. It's not just, hey, yeah, Georgia offered me 180, Florida State only offered me 90. I guess I got to go to Georgia. Okay, well, do you want to win? Do you want to actually get to a super regional? Do you want to go to the major leagues? If you can sell those things, the short-term benefit of an extra $90K or 50K or whatever, I don't think it means as much in that sport. And until proven otherwise, I trust Link Jarrett to put together a top 10 caliber team and roster every year.
Hell yeah. All right. I don't feel nearly as existentially dread as I did.
And also, like, Coastal Carolina was there. Murray State was there. Like, they're
Oregon State. Oregon State. They don't
Oregon
have a
State
conference.
does have a ton of money. They don't even have a conference. So it's not just the money you spend. It helps, but it's not just the money you spend that gets you there. You obviously need talent acquisition, you need players, but I don't think Florida State is going to be picking from the bottom of the barrel when it comes to prep guys and guys in the portal. They just got the best portal pitcher, the best pitcher in the entire portal is coming to Florida State. So they still have some their name still rings out a little bit, and they still have some cash to throw around.
Hell yeah. All right, that's a wrap for us. And this week, Monday, we'll be back, everybody. Hope you guys have a great weekend. In the meantime, check out warchant.com.
Oh, shout out real quick, Aslan. I'm sorry.
No,
happy birthday to Brady Clark.
Yeah.
Today is unbelievably number 17.
Let's go.
And apparently, according to his mom, we're supposed to go have a birthday dinner with my family and his girlfriend.
Aw,
so we're
nice.
gonna get to meet the girlfriend for the first time. So we'll see how all this goes. But yes, it's all happened, everyone. Brady Clark has grown up with the show, and now he's almost a grown up, which is really scary.
Took me 25 extra years to get a girl to bring in front of my family, Brady, so don't let your dad tell you you're not on the right track, man.
Sure.
Crushing it. Check out warchant.com. There's a 5-star linebacker corps that's going to be on campus this weekend on an official visit.
Okay,
on an official visit.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Make it happen.
He's Corey Maslon. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com.